Dad's right in the middle. There is just live music everywhere here at the Flora-Bama.
I love Flora-Bama bars the best.
Well, good morning, guys. This is the start of another adventure for us. We are on our way for a family reunion of sorts with Alli's family in Pensacola. And this is something we've been doing every year now for the past 3 years. So this year we are overnighting here at Three Rivers State Park in North Florida, right near Georgia. In fact, that is Georgia. This is the dividing line right here in this river. What we're seeing of this state park we really like so far. It's really beautiful here this morning. Certainly we're not going to be able to enjoy this park because we're only here as an overnight. We were originally going to just do it at Walmart or Cracker Barrel, but I couldn't really find anything in the area near where we wanted to stop. So I decided we would just go ahead and book a state park that was kind of in the area here, and that's Three Rivers. This has been a nice little overnight. It was easy. It was only about 8 miles off the interstate. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, I like the Cracker Barrels and all that kind of thing, but when there's none that I know that we can get into, and we're going to be driving that far like we did yesterday, I'd rather know that I have a place I can pull in and have some electricity and just not worry about it. The last thing I want to do is get woke up in the middle of the night by somebody telling us we got to move. So that's why we chose not to do the Walmart that was near here, because they said it's hit or miss as whether or not you can stay overnight there. So we're going to have some breakfast here before we head out and push on towards Pensacola. I think we have about 2.5 hours more to go. And once we get there, I think we're going to try to take Jake and Nori, Alli's dad and stepmom, to the Flora-Bama. They've never been, believe it or not. And Jake grew up in Alabama. Then I think we're going to go into Pensacola, the downtown area, for dinner tonight somewhere. Maybe try to find something that is pet friendly.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road
Now
again.
turn right.
Where? How can I turn right? It wants me to turn into the woods?
After half a mile, turn right onto Three River Park Road and then turn left. Route recalculation.
We are heading to the KOA in Pensacola, West Pensacola.
Which is actually in Alabama, technically.
Yeah,
We're actually going to be in Alabama.
Lillian, Alabama.
Yep. It's Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Yep.
Now turn left and then you will reach your destination.
So we arrived at the KOA campground here, the KOA West Pensacola, which, as we said before, is actually in Lillian, Alabama. After we got checked in and got to our site, got settled in, we had a really nice site at this campground. Unfortunately, we didn't get to enjoy it all that much. Had a nice patio, had a swing, had a nice fire pit. The swimming pool at this campground looked really nice too. Unfortunately, we just ran out of time with the only 2 days that we had there. We just didn't have time to get to this pool and really enjoy the campground all that much.
We are at the KOA here in Pensacola, and we are getting ready to go to the Flora-Bama. We're going to take my dad and Nori to see it for the first time.
Here we are.
Dad's right in the middle. We are back in Perdido Key, getting ready to go into the Flora-Bama, and I swear when we were here a couple years ago, those buildings right over there were not there. So we're gonna have to go back in our video and look and see if they were or not. And we're gonna go in and have a drink at the Flora-Bama. What's that face for?
Yeah, see, everybody guess what that is.
Let's go, Jaeger face.
Jaeger face. Do it?
She can do it. Can you do it? Nori is tying a knot in the cherry stem. I could not do it. She did it. She tied a knot in the cherry stem.
Flora-Bama.
Flora-Bama.
has had too much vodka.
Oh boy.
Never too much.
You know what?
That better not be on the video, though.
No, it might be, but you know what's best for vodka?
What?
Jaeger.
Tequila.
Jaeger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Let's take Daddy down to the beach.
There is just live music everywhere here at the
I
Flora-Bama.
love Flora-Bama bar is the best.
Well,
It was.
we have had a great time at Flora-Bama. This might have been the most fun we've had at Flora-Bama, quite honestly.
Who would have thought that we would have had the best time with my parents?
How fitting, sitting here in Alabama at a KOA, and look what pops up on our YouTube. Sweet Home Alabama. After we just got back from having fun at the Flora-Bama.
What did you say, Daddy? We said he's gonna feel kind of rough tomorrow, but he said what?
What did you say?
I said, you would not believe how good I feel.
That's how he feels right now.
We had a wonderful time last night. We went to the Flora-Bama bar, the historical Flora-Bama bar, which was open in 1964. And at that point, it was just a package store, just like a shack, basically. Half of the store was on the Florida side, and half of the store was on the Alabama side. Since then, they've kept building onto it, and it's now a multi-level bar where you can go into all the different rooms and listen to music in pretty much every room. So we actually saw like 5 bands yesterday. It's crazy. But they also have a gift store. When you first walk up to the bar, that's the main room where you go in. You actually have to pay an admission if you're there after 6 o'clock. But if you're there before, it's free to walk in. The gift store is always free, but they just have a cover charge to get into the actual bar. Nori got a t-shirt yesterday, and so did I. And as we went into the establishment, we ended up going to the bar and getting a couple drinks, and Chuck and I got the old famous Bushwhacker, which is basically 5 different liquors with screwball on top, and it tasted like a milkshake. We actually stumbled across this really good band that we want to start following now. They're called Sugarcane Jane, and they played all the kind of music that I just love, everything back from the 60s and 70s. Felt like I was a kid again. We have the family coming over today to have a little cookout, and we're excited to see them. We usually have this reunion once a year with the cousins up here.
So after finishing up an early dinner with the family, we decided to head on over to Pensacola Beach, which was a little farther from the campground than we would have thought it would have been. But Nori had never been. Jake had been years since he had been, and it had been a couple years since we were there. We stayed there at Big Lagoon State Park, which we really loved that state park. If you've never been there, definitely got to check that state park out. And we stayed at Fort Pickens, which is a national park, and loved that park as well. After our short but fun stay in Pensacola, we packed up the RV at the KOA campground there, made about a 4-hour drive back towards Apalachicola to meet up with her brother and his family and stay at a new campground in East Point, Florida called Coastline RV Resort.
You have reached your destination.
Once we got there and got settled, Alli's brother and his family came over, and I worked on a guitar with our nephew Ross, and we just did some family time and catching up. Okay, so this morning here at Coastline RV, we are getting ready to head over and check out Fort Gadsden. We seen this as we were driving up yesterday, and it looks like something that we would be interested in checking out and seeing. So before it gets uber hot today, we're going to go check this fort out. So when we arrived here at Coastline RV, we knew these sites were going to be pretty nice here, but wow, I mean, this campground is very nicely manicured, and we are literally right here by the ocean, or by the Gulf.
So we are now pulling down the road here to take you to Fort Gadsden, and the Crapple Maps, like as I like to call it, took us to the wrong spot, said that it was on the other side of the road, which Chuck remembered yesterday that it was on the other side, so he trusted his own instincts, and he was right. So we have now turned down the road, and we're going to find this fort.
We drove all this way to see Fort Gadsden, and it turns out the whole area is closed. So that's kind of a bummer. We drove down the Fort Gadsden Road only to be met by a gate here saying that the area is closed. So I decided to get out and walk a little bit just to see if I could see anything. But unfortunately, after walking a few hundred yards, it's saying that this area is closed. So there again, got to respect the rule of law here and not go on any further. It's a bummer because I really wanted to see this Fort Gadsden area. And now I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes, so I'm going to turn the camera off and run back to the Bronco. All right, so since Fort Gadsden was closed, we are doing a little other exploring. We are actually in Tate's Hell, checking out the Cache Creek Campground, seeing if this is an RV campground or if this is a tent campground. We do not know yet, but if it's kind of like the state forest campgrounds where we camp at Holder Mine and Tillis Hill, this might be someplace we might want to come back and check out and actually stay at. So this definitely looks like a campground that we could come back and stay at. There is nobody staying here except for the campground host right now that we can see. And they have a day use area, boat launch, and everything. So we will go ahead while we're here and show you guys around the campground. This might be an option if you're looking for a more primitive campground up in this Apalachicola area. So as we're driving through the campground here, we noticed that most of these sites we're seeing are just water only. But as we've come to site 63, there is electric here, and there is electric at 64. So they do have some electric sites out here, and that does look like that panel is open, and it does look like there is 50 amp even. So we're going to do a little research and find out how much it costs to camp here. We're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 sites with electricity here. But there is no one camping here except for the campground host right now. It is pretty hot, but this is a cool little find off the beaten path.
We are now going to head back to the RV and maybe grab something to eat because I'm getting a little hungry. It's 11:30. And then see what Dad wants to do, see if we want to go check out St. George Island. Well, we just got finished checking out St. George Island, showing Nori the cool little island here. Went to the beach, and now we're going to head back and get some lunch.
We put our toes in the water and our toes in the sand.
And Nikki paws.
Yeah, we had our toes in the water and our toes in the sand. Maybe a worry in the world, but no cold beer in our hand. So after checking out St. George Island and the beach there, we went back to the RV and picked up Jake and went back downtown to Apalachicola with the plan of going to Oyster City Brewing Company, where we had a flight of beers the last time we were here, but is now changed names to Apalachicola Watercraft Brewing Company.
It's weird to look in here now and see all the t-shirts and stuff for this.
Yeah. How many years ago was that we came? A couple years ago?
Yeah.
We wanted to grab a flight of beers here like we did before, but since the gentleman behind the bar said they rebranded, they weren't quite set up yet to have the flight of beers. So we just grabbed a beer, had a drink, then we ended up going and doing a little shopping in downtown Apalachicola. And one of the things that we like there is Rose's Botanicals. Got there right before they were closing and was able to get in, and Alli was able to pick up one of her favorite handmade soaps that she gets there. After which we ended up going on up to Lou's, which was right upstairs. Never been there before. That was our first time. Went up and had an appetizer and a drink. Then we headed back near the campground to a restaurant called Family Coastal Restaurant.
We just got finished eating dinner at the restaurant called Family Coastal Restaurant. The food was very, very good, but I would say that if you are planning on coming for dinner, you want to probably arrive a little bit after a typical dinner time, so maybe around 7 o'clock.
Or before.
Or before, like an earlier dinner, because 5 or 6 o'clock, definitely pretty packed. And they have a sign on the wall that mentions the fact that if you get there at busy time, your food is probably going to be late.
It's going to take as much as an hour.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind if you want to eat there. But
ours definitely took every bit of an hour, maybe more. But it was good.
The seafood was very good. Chuck and I both had fried shrimp.
Good
He
portions.
had buffalo. I had yum yum. Nori had peel and eat shrimp, and Dad had a whole cheeseburger in paradise.
In paradise.
In paradise. But it was a beautiful view.
looking at the bay.
So this was a great little campground here at Coastline RV Resort. And we are staying on the east side. They actually have two different campgrounds. They have another one that's down that way. That's Coastline West. We've already got someone out kayaking this morning, and the water looks calm as anything. But we really have enjoyed this campground. Very beautiful, very well manicured. I mean, look at the nice pavers you have for your patio and the nice gravel driveways. Definitely would come back here again for sure. But it's time, unfortunately, to start packing up, emptying tanks, ready to hit the road for the 5-hour drive back home. But at least this time, we're going to be driving along the coast here, and we'll be going around the bend of Florida, so a little less interstate this time, which will be nice. We had a great time. We had a great time at the Flora-Bama. We had a great time in Pensacola. Visiting with family. We've had a great time visiting with Alli's brother and his family here. And last night we went over and hung out and played some guitar again and just had a little bit of more family time there. But we do love this Apalachicola area and the St. George Island and all this surrounding area. It's really some beautiful country up in here. I believe they refer to this as the Florida's Forgotten Coast. We haven't forgotten it. We love this area. If you guys are new to the channel here, we would love for you to join our adventures by clicking that subscribe button. Make sure you ring that notification bell, and we will see you in the next one, guys. Bye.